Do real-life NPCs exist? People with no internal monologue? No ability to hear thoughts? An interview with a real-life NPC? A psychological analysis by me, based on all of the research into the human mind that I have ever done. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on YouTube.com with Ryan Lagden. So, this video recently came across my attention, it's gone viral, and despite the fact that the user only has like 6,000 subscribers, this video has gotten 1,800,000 views. I could never dream of such a thing. But I find this video absolutely fascinating because it tackles a subject that has entered the public consciousness for a while now. The question of NPCs, real-life non-playable characters who have no internal monologue. In other words, unlike me and you who can hear thoughts in our head, that little voice that narrates and reads everything, that never seems to shut up and won't let you sleep at night. That voice that comes out when you argue with yourself in the shower. Some people don't have this voice. Some people don't have internal monologue. And that's where the NPC meme was born. Here on Know Your Meme, NPC Wojak. Explain. NPC Wojak is a depiction of the MS Paint character Wojak with a blank stare and facial expression, named after non-playable characters within video games. The character is meant to represent people who do not think for themselves, are incapable of having an internal monologue, bearing many similarities to the terms basic and normie. Now, the NPC meme is supposed to describe someone in the real world who simply doesn't think for themselves. They simply go out through life, consuming products, watching TVs, following the rules, never really thinking, never really questioning. It is meant to exemplify the person who simply doesn't accept the world around him as anything but real. It's a lot like the concept of the red pill and the blue pill. Someone who's taken the blue pill simply doesn't realize things aren't as they seem.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
The idea is that these people are simply people who haven't awakened to the truth. They're not aware of the world. They're kind of just programmable, well, for lack of a better term, sheep. But is this idea of an NPC really true? Is the idea that some people are robotic in nature and simply do not think, and therefore seemingly perhaps less sentient, is such an idea true? Well, that's when we enter this unique interview that raises a lot of questions, and I believe that I may have answers to those questions. So let's view some of the clips and analyze what is being said, because I've done a lot of research into the human mind, and I actually believe that I may have some answers that may clear up everyone's questions. I may be able to address whether the world has real-world NPCs. But before all this, a quick word from this week's sponsor.
Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing-schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
And we're back.
Probably most requested question was, how do you read? Like, when I read, I hear the words in my head. I don't know how you could possibly read without not hearing the words.
When I read, I can see the sentence structure. Like, in my head, every sentence has a shape, so you can see like the shape of the sentence. And then also like keywords will pop out and I can file those away into my like concept map. So at the end of reading something, I can have a concept map of the main topics that I read about. And I tend to move my lips when I read. So like essentially I'm saying it out loud, but it's just not like audible.
So do you visualize the setting when you're reading a book?
No, it's not like images.
So as you can see, the interview is already confused, and I can understand why. When I first saw this video, I was completely and utterly, spellbound, as it were, because I can't imagine not seeing words and not thinking in words and not hearing words and not having a monologue. I can see images, I can visualize, it's just not as powerful as the words going on in my head. So this person says she sees the shape of the sentence. What exactly does that mean? What exactly is the shape of a sentence? What exactly does she see in her head? And as we go on here, keep these questions in mind, because I actually have, like I said, some possible explanations I may be able to address and crack the code to the NPC question.
Like audible.
So, do you visualize the setting when you're reading a book?
No, it's not like images. It's just the words.
So, do you like reading like fiction books, like where you have to put yourself in a situation?
I never really enjoyed reading.
At
and
all?
I think maybe that's why. Like, I can see the story plot.
Are you a fast reader?
Yes, very fast reader.
We could have a 100-question test. She's done when I'm on question 12. I'm not even kidding. It is superhuman. It's not fair. How do you know what you're thinking if there's no words?
Because I can see it.
So, she said something very telling there, and this is what I'm going to elaborate on. She can see it. She can see the sentence. She can see the words. She doesn't hear the words. She doesn't hear the words like you hear my voice. She sees a picture in front of her of what is being said. She processes visually in a way that we do not understand. But what if I were to tell you that she's not the only one? Consider the case of an autistic savant, Daniel Tammet. He was born he was born without the ability to regularly process language, but for him, numbers have meaning to him that don't have any meaning to us. He knows an entire language in his head that's made of numbers. Let's watch what he has to say.
When someone born in England or France or Germany sees calligraphy, sees Chinese ideograms, it's squiggles on a page. It doesn't mean anything, and to have them memorize it would be impossible. Well, numbers for me, they're not squiggles on a page. They have shapes, they have colors, they have textures, they have meanings, and these meanings are intuitive.
Now, I want you to pay attention. To him, colors have shapes, textures, meanings. He can see numbers almost as if this girl can see words. She can see the shape of a sentence. Do sentences have shapes? To most of us, no. They're simply sentences. If I want to imagine a sentence in my head, I can. Perhaps some people can only think in words. Perhaps some people can only think in images. And perhaps people can also think in both images and pictures, while others cannot. But what is the possible explanation for this? Well, I believe I have one answer. You see, human beings all have minds, but no two brains are the same. What better proof of this is there than identical twins? They share an identical genetic makeup. Everything about them is the same, and yet they go on to become different people. Perhaps this is a clue.
Kira, just let Mia have it. Aww. Come on, Mia. Be aggressive.
Even at an absurdly young age, you can tell that twins have different personalities. I want to show you something. Here you can see a picture of an antenna. Two antennas, and they both are able to pick up a similar signal. But these antennas are not normal. They were evolved antennas. These antennas were randomly evolved using genetic algorithms, and although they look wildly different in their shape, they can actually pick up a similar signal. Now, the whole purpose of this experiment was to find the best shape, to get the best reception for a specific signal. But the fact of the matter is, even two wildly different designs might be able to pick up a similar signal. And that's where I think that humans diverge. So someone who has internal monologue only, and someone who can only see in pictures or visually, is entirely possible. Perhaps the shape is different in the neural nets inside their brains, but the process is a little bit different. The shape is a little bit different. You're getting the same conclusion, but your process is completely different.
How do I know that when you and me look at a strawberry, and in my brain, this perception occurs, which I call red, that in your brain, a perception like this doesn't occur, which you have, of course, also learned to call red. We both call it red, we communicate effectively, and walk away, never knowing just how different each of our internal experiences really were.
I don't know, I just feel like the information is in there, and I can pull it forward if I want it. Like, it's all just like, it's like files. There's categories of information in my head, and I can pull them to the front if I need them.
But just like if I'm sitting and like I have a thought, or someone is like walking by and I have a thought about that person, I'm like talking to myself about that. Does that not happen to you?
No. If I have a thought, normally I say it out loud.
So as we go further into this interview, I'm just going to point out a few interesting things. One, apparently she's a fast reader, and this is interesting because she doesn't think. And the fact that she doesn't think actually makes it seem like she's able to think faster than us. Now here's an interesting thought. Did you know that all thought is actually suppressed speech? Oh, that's right. Every time you're thinking thoughts inside your head, perhaps even now, it's actually your speech, but suppressed. You see, they've done brain scans into the human mind. And what they found was, when people are thinking, the center of the brain that is activated during speech is also activated, but the vocal cords are being suppressed. So this person is unable to think without talking. Perhaps they're unable to suppress speech. Does that mean they don't think? Actually, no. One little known fact about human beings is that you don't actually need thought to process information. And when you really think about it, wouldn't thinking without words be faster? The truth is, probably. So this might explain why she's able to read faster, and it's very interesting how she says everything she knows is separated into a concept map with related subjects that she's able to put in files and pull out. That is fascinating. And actually, that sounds way better than what I have to do. I don't know if you're like me, but I feel like for most people, you have to memorize things. Memorize it, read it again, read it over, repetition, and then you're able to memorize specific facts and figures. You don't actually have a map of associations, and if you do, they're not on your conscious awareness. What do I mean by this? Well, it's very simple. The way she makes it sound is, let's say she has a lot of memories about plants. Well, all of her plants are in a specific file box, and maybe she's able to pick up even very detailed information, like the shape of a fern leaf or medicinal plants or anything like that, simply because her memories are sorted that way. But for us, we might be clueless. I certainly can't remember all the facts I've read. I've read survival books and I can't even remember what plants are good to eat. She sounds, actually, not so much like an NPC. Certainly no internal monologue. Certainly a little bit more robotic, perhaps. But I gotta be honest, they kind of sound like strengths, not weaknesses.
Do you daydream often?
No, never. Hardly ever. I can't think of a time that I've daydreamed, I don't think.
Do you dream at night?
Yes.
And are they normal dreams? Do you hear dialogue in those dreams?
I don't think so, actually.
So like if you don't have anything in front of you, like no stimulus, what is going on in your head?
Oh, I always have to be doing stuff. Like if I'm low and I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm like watching Netflix, I'm studying.
Do you have any theories on this yourself? / do you even care?
I don't
It
really
seems
care.
like
This feels really normal to me.
I can't even do this because I can't wrap my head around this. But she is so nonchalant about it, it makes me uncomfortable.
So here's another hint, and this is something that I've noticed analyzing this video. She keeps mentioning the physical. She has to say it out loud. She has to be doing something. She's got to keep her hands busy. Now I'm starting to see a pattern here. One, she's highly visual. She can only see pictures, well, not pictures so much as see the word. See the words. I don't know if she sees images. And she also says she has to do things. I think I see a pattern here that this person is a different shape than us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the evolvable antennas, perhaps the way she processes the world is different, where we do it with language, with sound, with words inside her head that we can hear. Perhaps she's visualizing the world around her with the shape of things that she can see.
I do, like, if I'm laying in bed at night, like, I have trouble getting to sleep because I can see, like, lists of things I need to do. And in order to make them go away, I have to go write them. No.
Is it harder to fall asleep?
Harder to fall asleep. Because I think I'm being almost visually stimulated when even my eyes are closed. I can't shut it out.
That voice is just constantly talking, and that makes it also very difficult to sleep. Also think that, like, they wish they could shut it off, and they're kind of jealous of your situation. But then again, we don't know what's going on in your head at
Right.
all. So it could be even worse. So
I feel like the conversations you're probably having in your head are what I'm seeing in my head.
So that's very telling, and that backs up my theory. Maybe us, people with monologue, maybe we hear it, and maybe she sees it. Now, who's to say that hearing it is better than seeing it, or that seeing it is better than hearing it? We might have different strengths. For example, someone who's visual may be more, logical. Spatial reasoning seems to be one of the highlights of human intelligence. Space, shapes, figures, visual. Hearing and language is probably better for communication and language. However, note, she does not have any trouble speaking, understanding words, or processing.
if you're on a date, how do you know if you like them or not?
We still feel stuff.
You still feel it?
We still feel.
You're not like judging them, like looking at them and be like, why would they wear that shirt? Or why does he keep talking,
I think
and why won't he shut up?
I think the things that you have in your head are probably more of like the box, like check boxes in my head. So like certain things will be like yep or like nope.
I gotta be honest. I'm pretty sure the whole checkbox thing in regards to men is just, the average woman. I don't think it matters how they're seeing or how they're processing reality. It's a big list of demands. Is he tall? Does he have a big wallet? Does he have a big? You can't say that word. The list goes on. Is he handsome? Blah, blah, blah. But it is fascinating. Do real life NPCs exist? And are NPCs less aware? Less sentient? Are they just like us? These are the questions in all of our minds.
Can't do this. When you're typing a sentence, like if you're writing a paper for school, how do you write a sentence if you don't think about like how you're gonna phrase the words?
Because they connect.
They just. But like,
It's all about the structure and the shape of the sentence. So and also I read my papers aloud, or I'll speak them out loud as I'm typing them, and then I'll go back and I'll change maybe the sentence structure so that fits a better shape. Like, I don't know how to describe the shape of a sentence.
when I write, I have thoughts and I write down what I think. So I can't comprehend how you could possibly just make a sentence without having.
So I think it's clear at this point that these two people are processing information in a completely different way. Now, the whole meme behind the NPC is to imply that some people are just kind of less aware. A non-playable character, in automation. Some might even say they lack some spark of life. Do I believe this is the case? Honestly, with everything that I know about the human mind, with all the research that I've done, I have to say, I don't actually believe that being an NPC, not having inner dialogue, means you aren't alive. So there's critics of the NPC meme who have in the past have said that the NPC meme is dehumanizing. For example, Kotaku wrote, on October 5th, 2018, Kotaku published an article titled, How the NPC Meme Tries to Dehumanize SJWs. You don't need the NPC meme to do that. They do that on their own. Which argued that the meme was used by anti-progressives to turn their political opponents into objects, pawns, strawmen, tools. Of course, they absolutely, they got triggered, okay? They got completely triggered over the NPC meme. The NPC meme has made some headway. Now, do I believe that real-life NPCs exist? Yes, I do. Do I believe that this woman in this interview is an NPC? No. No, I actually don't. This person is clearly intelligent. They're able to remember and memorize and categorize information way better than me. I have to memorize entire sentences. It sucks. It's hard to remember. I usually forget. And this person's probably got it down if they can get through a test in record speed. With the correct answers most likely are good grades. Is this woman an NPC? No. She's clearly aware of what's going on. She can talk. She can function. Does she sound a little bit robotic? Maybe. But I think it might be a matter of intelligence. So I want to show you something. This here is a bell curve, and this describes IQ. The intelligence quotient describes the average intelligence a person has. It describes their ability to recognize patterns, to process information, and to use that information. Most of the population has average IQ. They're somewhere in the middle, so to speak. And IQ is correlated with many things. High IQ is correlated with high incomes, low crime rates, productivity, good nutrition, and many positive life outcomes. Unfortunately, Low IQ is correlated with child neglect, poverty, unemployment, crime, poor nutrition, and so on and so forth. There are intelligent people in society, and there are people who are really smart and really dumb. Generally, being smart is a strength. Now, is this how inner monologue works? If you're smarter, do you have inner monologue? Not necessarily, I would say. I think what is really going on is that the whole NPC meme is real, but has less to do with internal monologue. There may be someone on this chart who is at the high end of the IQ bell curve, who are extremely smart, who are doctors, lawyers, maybe even artists, maybe even authors, who have no internal monologue, and yet are still very successful, still aware, still capable of wondering. However, there is also probably many people without monologue on the lower end of the spectrum, and with monologue on the lower end of the spectrum. I don't think it matters. I think we live in a world of smart people and dumb people. Perhaps the NPC is the one who's on the lower half of the IQ spectrum, who doesn't question the world around them, who doesn't practice critical thinking, who simply accepts whatever they see on TV, who stopped thinking because, well, thinking is a pain. In fact, one of the correlations of average to high IQ is thinking and ruminating about life. It's often been said that ignorance is bliss, and that if you're less intelligent, you actually might be happier. So here's an interesting headline from theatlantic.com. Business. Why so many smart people aren't happy. It's a paradox. Shouldn't the most accomplished be well equipped to make choices that maximize life satisfaction? Here it says, but research into happiness has also yielded something a little less obvious. Being better, educated, richer, or more accomplished doesn't do much to predict whether someone will be happy. In fact, it might mean someone is less likely to be satisfied with life. Being smart doesn't mean you're going to be happier, even if you're more successful, and it may be because you're smarter. You're more likely to think about the world around you, to question things. You're more likely to take that red pill. Maybe real-life NPCs do exist, but I think it has less to do with internal monologue and more to do with intelligence, with critical thinking, with if you question the world around you. Could this woman be a real-life NPC? Although I think we've come far in finding the answers, perhaps some mysteries still remain. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Did you enjoy my analysis and breakdown of the NPC question? Be sure to let me know your thoughts and your theories about NPCs. As always, if you enjoy the content that I make, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. Joining will give you access to a private Discord server. You can currently donate through Bitcoin, other cryptos, or contributions on Subscribestar. All links are down below in the description. Sharing the video is vastly appreciated. I wonder how many people are out there who are able to think only with visuals, or are only able to think with inner monologue. Are there people who can do both? Are there people who think completely differently than both of those? This is one of the reasons that studying the human mind is such a fascinating subject for me. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.